Shalom. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, underneath Commander General YAHANNA. We're not affiliated or associated with any other Israelite group. You know what I'm saying? So like it, but sorry for the late start. I had a little technical difficulties, but we are back on schedule. Everybody get themselves a round of applause, give themselves a hand. You know what I'm saying? It was the Day of Atonement. It was a lot of brothers and sisters' first time keeping the Day of Atonement. I know a lot of y'all are feasting and drinking water and enjoying yourselves and having a good time, but give yourselves a hand for afflicting thy soul, because that is what the Day of Atonement is about. It's about showing the Lord that you are willing to suffer. You're willing not to drink any water for 24 hours or not to have any food for 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? So give yourself a hand for that. But we're just going to dive into a couple of scriptures, man. Just try to go over some things. You know what I'm saying? Because there's been a lot of controversy going on lately. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of controversy in the news right now. And you know, it's biblical law class. We're going to go into the law with the nation of Israel and how we're not supposed to have any other nation over us, you know, or a king or somebody like that. And you know what I'm saying? It's just going to dive into the reason why we are in the conditions that we are in right now. Because everybody's in the uproar right now with Kanye West and Candace Owens over the t-shirt that Kanye West wore, which says White Lives Matter. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we understand and know that Kanye West is delusional and is out of his mind. You know, some people like to say some of your smartest people are crazy, which is not true at all. You know, if they're crazy, they're just crazy. There's something wrong with them. They have a demon on them. They need some type of help. You know what I'm saying? That's wrong with Kanye West. He needs help, but he doesn't have anybody around him who tries to get him that help. So everybody's in an uproar about Kanye West wearing this t-shirt which says White Lives Matters. But we're going to show you the reason why we are in this situation that we are in right now. All right, let me get y'all a couple of scriptures. All right. First scripture I'm going to get is Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 2. All right, I'm going to start out. Well, I'm going to start out with 15, and I'm going to go back. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. It says, Thou shalt in any wise set him a king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. All right? Now, this was a law given to the nation of Israel about when we chose a king. The nation of Israel, till this day, we have a king. And our king's name is Yahawashi HaMashiach. That's our king's name, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Now, that king was chosen for the nation of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Because all of our kings were supposed to come from the lineage of David. Get down. No. All of the kings were supposed to come from the lineage of David. And that's where Christ comes from. Christ comes from the lineage of David, and he is our king. But the nation of Israel, with us going into slavery and not knowing our king, we have decided to choose other people to be kings over us. Who's the king over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to this day? Who have black people chose to rule over them today? Mainly in America. actually for time's sake. Today in 2022, black people chose Joe Biden to be over them. Black people chose Joe Biden to be over them. Back when Donald Trump was the president, black people were trying to choose Hillary Clinton to be over them. Bill Clinton, different presidents, Obama, people who are not from our lineage, people that are not our brethren, we chose them to rule over us. You know what I'm saying? Hell, Kodak Black was so pleased with Donald Trump being president because Donald Trump pardoned him out of prison. So now Kodak Black, being this gangster, so-called gangster who loves black people, he likes Donald Trump. He loves Donald Trump. But the reason why we are in this condition is because we didn't keep one of the main laws when it comes to us choosing the king to rule over us. Black people don't accept Jesus Christ as their king, who they call Jesus Christ. They don't accept this YAHANNA of the Bible as their king. Stop. But they do accept, a devil as their president, as their king to rule over them. Because guess what? The Jesus Christ that they think of out of the Bible, they think he's a white man. And that's the king that they have set over them. And with this Christ that they love so much, being a devil, being an oppressor, they accept him as his king. Guess what? They accept any other devil as their king. They accept any other devil. If you think YAHANNA, who the world calls Jesus Christ, is a Caucasian man, guess what? You have accepted another king that is not of thy brethren. Because we are not brothers with the so-called oppressor. He's not our brother. He's not our brother like the 12 tribes of Israel, how we are. Like, we are one family. We're La Familia. We're the family. But the so-called oppressor is not our family, man. And guess what? Isn't Kanye West the pastor? Doesn't Kanye West have his own church? Last time I checked, I thought Kanye had his own church. What is he in there doing? Who's he in there worshiping? Ask yourself that question. How's it right? You know what I'm saying? Kanye West got his own church, but yet he probably still thinks Christ is a so-called Caucasian man. And guess what? You better believe Christ, Kanye West gonna come up for some reason why he wears that shirt. He's gonna have some type of explanation for it. Who knows? Is he gonna blame black people for the reason why he wore that shirt? Is he gonna blame us again and say this is the reason why he wears that shirt? We'll find out. We'll see shortly. He showed it how Candace Owens in there with him. Candace Owens right in there with him with the same shirt on. But this is what happened when you choose a king that is from not around your brother, man. What? Just put them on the table over there. It's all right. But this is the result of the nation of Israel not living underneath the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Since we don't have a king, hey, get him from off that. Yeah, don't just look at him do that. You know what I'm saying? Slacking. But this is what happens when you don't have a king that is from your brethren, man. Listen, the Christ out of the Bible, man, that's our king, man. He told us what to do when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians being brethren. He told us to love each other, man, prefer one another. And we don't do that right now. We don't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, And so now we're in a horrible condition as black people, Latinos, and Native Indians. And everybody's in an uproar about that T-shirt Kanye West is wearing, and it truly is despicable and disgusting, man. Especially as a black man. You know, Ahmaud Arbery's mother came out and spoke on that situation because Kanye West had donated $2 million to the victims of, you know, gun violence. Like Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, they donated $2 million to their families, which was a, you know, good gesture from him. But at the same time, you can't donate money like that and then turn around and make a shirt that says White Lives Matter. That's like an insult to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's like a slap in their face. Because now you're going to make so-called oppressors feel like, guess what? Our lives do matter. Our lives do matter. He's right. And we should speak up on it, and we should have something to say about it. Next, they'll be boycotting in the streets, wearing these T-shirts. To me, I think it's some type of marketing scam to get money from people. Pretty sure Caucasian people will buy them T-shirts. They'll buy them. Especially if he's selling it. $10 a shirt. You sell about 300,000 of them. It's good money. But it's stupid. Because he doesn't have any integrity. And that's what we have to understand, man. Kanye West is not willing to suffer. He's not willing to endure and go through hell and heartache. Like you brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K. that kept the Day of Atonement, you showed the Lord that you could deal with affliction, that you're able to make your soul suffer to serve him. That's what you showed the Lord of the Day of Atonement when you didn't have water for 24 hours, when you didn't eat any food for 24 hours. That's what you showed the Lord. You showed the Lord that you're willing to endure. But these Uncle Toms and these coons and these sellouts, they're not willing to endure, man. Kanye West is just another lost soul, man. Another brother who's lost because he wants to love the oppressor, man. All right, let me get Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 2. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 2. And it reads, If there be found among you within any of the gates which the Lord thy God giveth thee, man or woman that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, and transgressing his covenant, verse 3, and have gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or moon, or any host of heaven, which I have not commanded you. So like this is what you're not supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be serving and worshiping these other gods, man. The host of heavens and all of these different things, man. That's what a lot of our people have done, man. They have took these idols. They have took these idols, man, and started to worship them. And they put these idols above them, and these have become their gods, man. These have become their gods that they worship. Caesar Borgia. Hell, Donald Trump and Kodak Black eyes. Donald Trump is a god to Kodak Black because he's the one he looks up to. He's his star. He's his star that he looks up to and he worships and he serves. And that is the problem with us right now, man. We're not keeping these laws, man, and not choosing to serve the real king of this earth, Yahawashi HaMashiach. So we don't keep any of the laws and statutes and commandments. Salakia. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we serve the Most High and his son, man. Yahawashi HaMashiach, our king, who we know who's going to come back. And with us doing that, guess what? We keep all of the laws, statutes, and commandments. We do it the same exact way that Christ did it, man. Christ kept the laws to the T, man. Christ kept the laws to the T. And he loved us, man. He never told us to go worship Caesar. He said, render to Caesar what is Caesar's. Meaning, if Caesar wants you to pay the taxes, man. Keep the little laws of the land. They don't want you to speed, don't speed. They don't want you to do certain things, don't do it. But make sure you keep the laws of the Most High first, man. Because guess what? Keeping some of the laws will get you killed, man. also have a law saying that you can marry women. You can marry men. Men can marry men. They have that law. They're going to come up with some more laws soon that's going to be truly diabolical. I'm going to get you a story. I'm going to show you something about affliction, man. Let me show you somebody who dealt with some affliction, man. Yo, chill out, chill out. Yo, ISRAELITE, sit yourself down. If you got your Apocrypha, go to 2 Maccabees. Go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6. Let me show you something about affliction, man. Out of the Bible, man. Out of the Apocrypha, by the powerful sister and her 7 sons, man. Because you Christians, they can never keep the Day of Atonement, man. You got some nutcases who keep the Day of Atonement and make their kids keep it. I'm talking about babies. Telling their women they cannot breastfeed their children. Telling that you have to be, if you're over the age of 9, you got to keep the Day of Atonement. Like, you got people out here literally starving their children for 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? You got people out here right now who are starving their children for 24 hours. The whole goddamn house isn't eating. Because these people are truly nutcases, man. All right, this is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 1. All right, it says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God. Salakia. Wipe the baby nose. Get off the stage. All right, so it says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God. So just like of ancient times, man, it's always been somebody trying to stop us from serving the Lord and keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. What you see with Kanye West is nothing new, man. This is nothing new. Get down. No. This is nothing new, man. We have always had people that have tried to come and stop us from serving the Lord, man. And you had this man in Athens trying to force us to stop keeping the laws of our fathers, man, which we do today in the I.S.U.P.K underneath Commander General YAHANNA. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do now. We keep the laws of our father. That's why we kept the Day of Atonement. This is a law given to the children of Israel to do. And guess what brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K did? We did that. No. No. Verse 2. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter, Olympus, and that in Gazarim, in Garzim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. So you had this bastard from Athens wanted us to worship other gods in our temple. No different than what they do in these Christian churches, man. These churches call these places the temple of the Lord, the house of God, and they worship other gods in there, man. What do you think keeping Christmas is? You got right now in church, sooner or later this month, they're gonna hold Halloween in these churches, man, which is supposed to be the house of God. The house of God is gonna keep Halloween, the Day of the Dead. Come on, man. This is something that is not, this is nothing new underneath the sun. They did this back then too, man. Verse 3. The coming in of the mischief was sore and grievous to the people. So when he did this made our people mad. When he told us to start worshiping other gods, our people got mad. No different than now. Everybody's mad at Kanye West for making that stupid statement, man. They got mad at Kanye West for making that stupid statement, man. Putting on that t-shirt that says White Lives Matter. Because a lot of our people are starting to wake up and realize the damage that is going to happen because of big-headed Negroes like him who open their mouths on the behalf of black people. Get down. Get down. No. No. Get him, little baby. Get him. You know what I'm saying? This is why we should not be following and listening to any entertainers out of the black community, man, or the Latino community. We shouldn't be listening to them because with us listening to them, man, they're going to make us do things that we normally wouldn't do as black people, man. Like black people would never put on a shirt that says White Lives Matter, man, unless it's somebody trying to infiltrate us and destroy us, man. And this is what happened back in ancient times, man, when this piece of trash for Athens came to Jerusalem and tried to make us compelled to serving all of these other people, man, and not serving our God. All right, verse 3, it says, the coming in of the mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles who dealt with harlots, who dealt with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. And besides that brought in things that were not lawful. So you had bastards, man. You had heathens, man, bringing in whores into the temple of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? Into the holy places. And they were bringing in things that were unlawful. That's like somebody walking in this school with a prostitute. Not trying to make her get in the class, but like, hey, yo, I'm bringing her in. This old girl from down the street, so-and-so. And bring her in with a plate full of pork ribs. How do you think we would feel inside this school if we seen something like that? Anybody in the comment section, what do you think would happen if we seen some trash like that happening? Somebody bring a prostitute in here with a plate of pork ribs, smothered and lathered in barbecue sauce. What do you think would happen to him? Anybody can answer. Come on. I'm gonna have to answer for time's sake. If I can get 10 more seconds. Damn right. Damn right, Shar. Officer Shar, damn right. He said you getting checked at the door. You getting checked at the door. Plus major counsel. Damn right. Now imagine back then with the temple in Jerusalem. Like, you didn't have mighty men like we got, like Officer Shar or Captain Natazar, you know what I'm saying? Officer Akaz, Officer Maradaki, Officer Shan, you know what I'm saying? Officer Kazak Shapar. Like, you didn't have too many mighty men back then because we were infiltrated by the heathens. So during this time, guess what? These Gentiles brought horrors into one of the most holiest places for the nation of Israel, man. Brought this horror and unlawful things inside there, man. All right, verse 5. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbidden. So they brought things into the altar, which was forbidden. Like, you couldn't bring it. Ain't no telling what the hell these bastards brought, man. But everything they brought was unlawful. You right too, cause you getting kicked the F out. All right, let me keep going. Verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So back during these times, guess what? You couldn't even keep the Sabbath. You couldn't keep the Sabbath. Meaning, guess what? You had to work on the Sabbath for an oppressor. You had to go work for some oppressor. That's no different than now, right? Can we keep the Sabbath? Or do you have to tell your job like, hey, you know, I'm not working this. I don't work weekends at my jobs. But most slaveries make you work on the Sabbath. They make you work on the Sabbath. And it says, or ancient feast. Like, you couldn't even keep the ancient feast days. That's no different than what happened to us in slavery. When we came off them slave ships, we couldn't keep the Sabbath or the feast days, man. We didn't get to keep none of it. And with them doing that to us, it's the reason why we are in the condition we are in right now. It's the reason why we have chose other gods to rule over us, man. The reason why Kanye West wears his White Lives Matter shirt. The reason why, what's the other one? Hershey Walker with his retarded self is running for president, running for governor for Georgia. Hershey Walker is a big idiot, man. Salakia. When you get spare time, Google Hershey Walker's son and email me back on Facebook. Yikes. All right, verse 7. It says, in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter concentrate to eat other sacrifices. Guess what this is showing you right here? This is showing you birthdays in the Bible. It's just showing you birthdays in the Bible, and there's a law for us not to celebrate birthdays. I'm going to read this again for you. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 7. It says, in the day of the king's birth, which is the king's birthday, every month they were brought by bitter concentrate to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. Verse 4. Verse 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestions of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. So these heathens made it a law for us to worship what they worship, even though they know it went against the Bible, man. Even though it went against our laws, statutes, and commandments for us to worship other gods and to serve underneath these heathens, man. They did this to us, man. No different than now. Like, now we have been beaten so much into subjection that we have no problem celebrating birthdays. We have no problem celebrating Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of these various things that worships other idols. But I guarantee you nobody celebrated the Day of Atonement, man. I guarantee your Christian church didn't keep the Day of Atonement. All right, let me keep reading. Verse 9. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. So if we didn't do the same things these heathens told us to do, we would be put to death. We would be killed. Back then, if you didn't celebrate the king's birthday, you would be killed. Back then, if you didn't want to keep Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas, you would be killed. This is why, man, we fight tooth and nails, man, to serve the Lord, man. Passover, brothers and sisters, is taking off whole weeks and losing jobs just to come and serve the Lord, man. Losing slavery because of the customs and the laws that the Lord has established for us, man. Not willing to sacrifice your soul just to get a little crumb out this empire, like Cayenne West and Kansas Owens. And the list goes on of Uncle Tom's sellouts that we have amongst the nation of Israel, man. All right, keep reading. It says, then mighty men have seen the present misery. So during this time, the men seen misery amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? They seen suffering and destruction amongst our people because we didn't want to serve these other gods, man. No different than what they did to us during the time of slavery. Like how they did our Gadite brothers who didn't want to serve America or fall after their gods. Would cut our hair off. Would rape our women and our children. Would set us on fire and castrate us, man. Because we didn't want to worship Caesar Borgia. Like, we didn't want to worship that white image of Jesus Christ. Stop. Okay, slug. We didn't want to do any of that. All right, I'm going to keep reading. All right, verse 10. For there were two women brought who had circumcised their children, who when they had openly led round about the city, the babies hanging at their breast, they cast them down headlong from the wall. So these two women circumcised their children, like how we did with the baby here, the child out of the U.P.K, Mathan. We went and got him circumcised. So these sisters, these two women, went and got their children circumcised. And the heathens were so disgusting and filthy and vile, they took their children and hung them from the city walls, man. They hung their babies from the city wall, man, because they got them circumcised, man. This is what they sick bastards did, man. They took our children and hung them from the city walls of Jerusalem because we got them circumcised. And you think about that when some disgusting bastard doesn't want to keep the Day of Atonement, man. Who doesn't want to make themselves suffer for 24 hours with no water or no food? Oh, that's too hard for you. Oh, I can't do that. That's too much. But these sisters right here had their children hung from the city's walls because they got them circumcised, man. Come on, man. Verse 11. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, and being discovered to Philip, were all burnt together because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. So you have brothers and sisters, man, who died just to keep the Sabbath, man, who got set on fire because they wanted to keep the Sabbath. They did this in slavery also, you know that, right? When the native Indians didn't want to follow the laws of these heathens, they set us on fire, man. When they caught Israel, Judites, reading the Bible in caves, they would take us and burn our eyes out, man. They would take us and rip our tongues out. They'd burn our eyes out and rip our tongues out in front of the other brothers and sisters who were slaves, to show us an example of what happens when you want to serve your God. They beat our language out of us. They beat our culture out of us, man. And this is the reason why we have a hard time coming back and serving the Lord. But the Most High has sent the I.S.U.P.K on all of these street corners in the earth to wake our people up. You might think we're crazy right now, but the time is coming to where you're going to have no choice but to choose and pick a side. Either you're going to serve the Lord or you're going to serve the oppressor. Scripture says you cannot serve two masters, for either thou will hate one or love the other. All right, let me keep reading. Verse 12. Now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for chastising of our nation. Huh? Yes, ma'am. So the people that read this book, you brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K that read this book, even though they do horrible and destructive things to us, man, even though they destroy us, don't be discouraged, man, for these calamities, man. Don't be discouraged, man. Don't be, man. This is an honor to serve the Lord, man. To keep the Day of Atonement is an honor to keep. A lot of us kept it, man. People didn't even know we was keeping the Day of Atonement. We didn't even tell anybody. You thought it was just a normal day when you seen brothers and sisters from the I.S.U.P.K. You couldn't even tell we were afflicting our souls, man. That's how strong we have gotten, man. And this is showing the Lord the reason why he's going to destroy our enemies, man. We kept the Day of Atonement. Go ahead. Get him something to drink. We kept the Day of Atonement. And the Lord allowed they allowed North Korea to shoot missiles over Japan. Because we're showing the Lord that we can afflict our souls for him. And the Lord allowed North Korea to shoot missiles over Japan yesterday and again today. This is what happens when you come back and serve the Lord and are willing to deal with affliction and calamity, man. All right, let me keep reading. Verse 13. For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but for with punishment. So this is a honor, man. This is a token of great goodness when you afflict thy soul, or when somebody afflicts you for serving the Lord, man. It might seem bad to some people. Like you tell some people, oh man, I'm not eating Jalea. Now you tell a lot of people find out about the Day of Atonement after you keep it. You be like, yeah, yesterday was the Day of Atonement when you fast for 24 hours. They look at you like, what? I ain't doing that. Fast for 24 hours? Why would I do something so stupid? That's how they look at us. But it's an honor to keep this tradition, man. It is an honor to afflict thy soul, man. You look at what our brothers and sisters went through back then. It's an honor to do this, man. I'm going to keep reading. Verse 14. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbid to punish, till they become to the fullness of their sins, so dealt he with us. Slacking. Verse 15. Lest that being come to take height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us, and therefore he never withdraw his mercy from us, and thou he punish with adversary, yet doth he never forsake his people. So yeah, it might be hard, some of the things we got to go through, but the Lord is not going to be short-handed when it comes to vengeance on these heathens. The Lord isn't going to be short-handed on his vengeance towards these heathens, man. This is why we see World War III in the process of happening before our eyes. Because the Lord is allowing vengeance upon these heathens for what they done to us, man. And it is a great thing to witness. Let these heathens blow each other straight to hell. Let them blow each other straight to smithereens with nuclear missiles, man. Do what you want to do. Go ahead, push the button. So we can go buy all the alcohol in the liquor stores and sit around with our families and our brothers and have cookouts and cheer while the missiles go off, man. Verse 17. But let this that we have spoken be for a warning unto us. And now we will come to the declaring of the matter in few words. Verse 17. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and not to eat swine's flesh. So you had Eleazar, one of our elders, man, one of the older brothers, man, who was in good countenance, who had a good reputation amongst our people. He wouldn't open his mouth to eat the swine's flesh, man. He wouldn't eat bacon or pork or hog maws, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You know, this just like these piece of trash devils, man. They loved pork back then and they love it now. They love pork, man. They love pork like what they say, pork is the other red meat, which is not damn true, man. Pork is pork, and it's disgusting. All right, let me keep reading. It says, but he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth and come out of his own accord to be tormented. So Eleazar, man, one of the elders, man, one of the brothers, he, rather than him eat the pork, he spit it out. He'd rather deal with torment and die gloriously, rather than eat the pork, man. And why did he want to die like? Why did Eleazar not want to eat the pork? Why did he rather die? It's not as simple as people think. But why did Eleazar not also want to eat the pork? What was another reason why he didn't want to eat the pork? In other words. What was the other reason why Eleazar didn't want to eat the pork? And right, because I support to be strong for his brethren. But there's something else. That's right. But it's something else. It's something else dealing with his brothers, man. What thing? Because Paul said to be strong for his brother, but what's the other reason why? To be strong for his brothers is correct, but it's something else. Get down. That's true too, Nayar. Both answers are right, but it's something else that we always speak on, man. If you got the scripture, read up in 19. Read 17. Well, read 18 again, and it'll tell you the reason why. No. Get down. Get down. Wipe his nose again, Joel. I'm going to give it to you for time's sake. It's because of his reputation. His reputation that he had. Like it said in 18, it says, Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and well-favored countenance. You know what I'm saying? He had favorite countenance, mean he was a man that had an amazing reputation. And he knew one thing about being a man with a good reputation who keeps the laws, statutes, and commandments. There are men underneath you that watch you, that learn from you. That's why it's so heavy, man. If you are an officer in this school, with a ranking position in this school, it's so important for you to stand by these statutes and commandments the Lord has given to us. No. Because there are men underneath you that are going to watch and learn. Why do you think all of us always say, I was taught this from the men above me? I learned this from the men above me. All right, I'm going to go to verse 20. As it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted, but they that had the charge of the wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision. So Eleazar, they knew he wasn't going to eat the pork. So men that knew him, other men that knew him, older men who had been around him and knew him for his great reputation, pulled him to the side and brought him lawful flesh. So the men that knew him, rather than him eat the pork, they pulled him to the side and brought him flesh of his own provision. So they brought him like something that was clean and something that was lawful. All right, such as was lawful for him to use, and make it as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. So these wicked bastards, like your Christian pastors, pulled them to the side, like how they did and said that, what's wrong with him? Leave him alone. Let him go. Let him go. So men that knew him pulled him to the side and told him, yo, eat this lawful food and still say that you ate the food that the king told you to eat. Still tell the people that you ate the pork even though it's not pork. Verse 23. But he began to consider discreetly, and as it became his age, in the excellency of his ancient years, in the honor of his gray head, whereunto he was come in his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightwards to send him to the grave. Well, this brother went out like a real gangster. He said, send me to the grave. He said, send me to the grave before I decide to eat any of this pork. I'm going to try to finish up Salagi. All right, verse 24. For it become not our age, said he, in any wise to dismember whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion. Yeah, eating that pork is a strange religions. Worshipping the king and keeping your birthdays is a strange religion. Verse 25. And so they thought, and so they through mine hypocrisy and the desire to live a little time and a moment longer should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to my old age and make it abominable. So he said, rather than me with my old age make a stain to my reputation for the young, because he knew if he ate this pork, the young would do the same. No different than Kanye West, all your Uncle Tom sellout Christian pastors. That's why they do these things, because they know that our people will be influenced by these things, man. They know they'll do whatever they see they know that whatever they do, since they're such a big influence amongst our people, whatever they do, everybody else will do. All right. Verse 26. For through the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Verse 27. Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as mine age requireth. This a man, brother. It's a man right here, sisters. You got to be willing to give your life to serve the Lord. Can't be eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster and say that you love the Lord, man. Can't be a homosexual and say you're serving the Lord, man. You got to come serve the Lord correctly and be willing to lose your life behind it, man. All right. Verse 28. And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he said these words, immediately he went to the torment. Verse 29. They that led him, changing the good will, they bare him a little before into hatred, because they foresaid speeches proceeded as they thought, for a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifested unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in the body by being beaten, but in the soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him. And brothers and sisters, this is what we did during the Day of Atonement, man. We served the Lord, man, by suffering our souls, man, not caring about our bodies. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And with that, shalom.